Hello world, Stephen Michael Zach here, and today we're taking a look at the Zhiyun Molus B500. Now, it'll cost you this much at the time of the recording of the video, and I did buy this with my own money, so these are going to be my own brutal and honest opinions as always. So let's take a look at what comes inside the box. My own brutal and honest opinions as always. This is new to me. Inside the box, you're going to get your instructions, you're going to get the unit itself, you're going to get your extension cord with Velcro, and you're going to get one reflector dish. There is no case, only the foam. And yes, this unit actually comes with a safety cap. Okay, so let's take a look at build quality. Now, first off, this is made out of plastic. It feels like a heavy graded plastic here. You have your USB Type-C on the side here and your DIB knob, which pushes in and turns on this side. And on the other side, you have your CCT knob. And on either side, you have these big giant fans. Swinging around to the back, you have another little fan, and on the bottom you have your hard on-off switch, and you have your computer plug there. On top, it's just ventilation, and in the front you have an open Bowens mount design. We'll talk about that later. And the yoke, while it is plastic, is fairly solid. I like the buttons, the knobs here. They feel pretty solid. You do get an umbrella holder as well, and again, this is a disc system, so there you go. That's super awesome. And again, you have a nice ratchet handle here, so pretty awesome. And then you get this release here for the Bowens mount. And the cord is of the cheap PVC nature, so there you go, there you have it. And taking a look at the cob, as you can see, the cob, they're just in a row arrangement. Okay, so here we are with the light, and we have the dim on this side and the color temperature on that side. So let's go ahead and we'll dim this down, and it goes all the way down to 0%. And here is 1%, which is not bad at all. And if you press this in, you get 20%, 40%, 60%, 80%, and 100%. The same can be said for this button over here. If you press it, you get 27, 32, 43, 55, and of course you do get 65. Now, if you hold in the left button here, you're going to go into the menu system. You can reset the Bluetooth by pressing, you can surf the menu using the left side here. And if you press in here, that is, you press on this side over here on the left, that is going to reset your Bluetooth. But you do get language, Bluetooth, and the version. Stay away from the language. That is going to mess you up. It is very easy to mistakenly change the language on this thing. Hold that in, and it takes you back to the menu. Holding the side button in, you are going to go to the special effects. And of course, we go all the way to the top here. We have CCT loop, fireworks, CCT flash, CCT pulse. You get a strobe, welding, explosion, lightning, TV, bad bulb, fire, paparazzi, SOS, and that's it. Going back to the fire, yes, with all these special effects, you control the dim, the brightness, the speed, and of course the color temperature. So good on Zhiyun for giving us the ability to control the special effects. Okay, so here we are at 3 meters away, and let's take a look at the beam angle with the dish on. As you can see, pretty nice. There's some nice fall off. I'm not seeing any rings on the side here. Which is very, very nice. And let's take a look at it without the dish on. And again, the fall off, there's maybe a little bit of a end there, but it looks pretty darn good. Nice and wide. So there we go. It looks pretty good. So no problems there. So here are the readings for 2700 Kelvin. We're getting 2751. We're at 0.2 magenta. And as you can see, the planking curve is a little off by 0.00011, and the TLCI is only 96. And here we are at 3200 Kelvin. We're getting 3214, and we're getting a 1.0 green. And again, the delta UV is negative 0.004, so it is off the planking curve, and we've lost some TLCI. And here we are at 43, and again, we're getting 1.4 green and a negative 0.0061, and we gained a little TLCI back, but as you can see, this thing is skewing green and off the planking curve. And here's 5500 Kelvin, we're getting 5549, And again, we're skewing 1.2 green and a negative 0.0037 on the planking curve, and we have our TLC back to 99. Finally, here is 6500 Kelvin. We're getting 6611. We're at a 1.0 green, and we're back closer to the delta UV, the planking curve at negative 0.0007 and at 97 TLC. Okay, so let's talk pros and cons with this light. Starting from the front, I will say that I'm not a huge fan of this quick release. For the Bowens mount, it feels like this will be the first thing that I bump and breaks off. Popping this off, we have an exposed Bowens mount. This is something I absolutely did not like on the Amaran 60Xs and 60Ds. Good on that on Zhiyun because they actually made these out of metal instead of plastic, so they won't break, unlike the Amaran. But again, I'm not a fan of this exposed Bowens mount. The problem is when you put an open softbox in here, an open modifier, the top two will generally come out, but then it'll get stuck in the bottom and it could break the modifier or the mount. Although I don't think this is going to break because it's made of metal. So moving on, let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that is the jet engine fans. Now, I have not updated this out of the box. I don't know if there's a new update or a new update coming soon. I heard that there was an update, or there is going to be an update where they address that. So hopefully the fans will be fixed, because you can hear them from 10 feet away, from 20 feet away. They are just too loud at 100%, even at 50% and then 25% after I ran it for a while. They just cranked up. There was just one speed. So unfortunately, these fans are super loud. So that is one of the major problems with this light. And then finally, well, not finally, but moving on, I will say that I wish there were the words back here that would tell you which knob does which. I don't want to have to, I had to keep looking to the side to remember which knob adjusted which. I'll probably just do some labels back here so that I don't have that problem. And finally, I want to talk about the accuracy. The accuracy of this light is not very good. It either skews very magenta or very green. It is kind of all over the place. When you're down in the 2700 area, it's very magenta, and then even as you move through it, it skews very green. So not the best color accuracy. I think there are better, more color accurate lights out there than this. Stick around and get subscribed, because I am going to be comparing this to the Nanlite FC500B. So make sure you're subscribed for that comparison. And I will say that, that's pretty much it. You don't get a case with this. Now let's move from the cons to the pros, and I have to say I love the size of this thing. I think it's super lightweight. Everything about it just screams my workflow. Super lightweight. There's no big heavy ballast. You just plug it in and go. It's got pretty good special effects for what it is. For a light like this, which is not really a special effect light. I love the fact that it's got a hard toggle switch here. It plugs in very easily, even though there's not a lock. No problem. All I have to do is take a clamp and fix it. I like the fact that it's got an umbrella mount. It's got the yoke. It is a disc system. One thing I did have a little one thing I did have trouble with, and that's because it's so back heavy, which I guess is another negative, is the fact that it was hard to position, because every time I got it into position, it seemed to want to dip back a little bit. So that was a little tough. But other than that, very, very, very nice, very solid there. I do like the buttons on the side. Again, I just wish the diagrams were in the back. And I will say that this screen is rather small for these old eyes. And the construction is fairly good, even being all plastic. I would say it's better than some others. It has a nice even beam, and that's pretty much it. This thing is, I will say, I am very continually impressed with Zhiyun. With the way that they have been progressing. I use a lot of their other lights here in the studio. And I will say, if you are using just this light, or you're using a couple of these, or mixing these with the 300 series or some of their other lights, I would say this is okay. I would say definitely for anything without sound, photography, videography, product videography, anything like that, you should not have a problem. You could always correct it in post, or correct it, or throw up a gel, or correct it in your camera. So it is not terrible, but for me, for my personal run and gun workflow that has to be lightweight and quick, this is a pass for me, just for the fan and the mount alone. So that's it. Those are my thoughts, but I want to know yours. So leave your questions and comments in the notes below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to mash the bell button to be notified when we drop a brand new video. And feel free to use the links below as it helps out the channel. I'm Stephen Michael Zach, and this is new to me.